In this mind map, we're looking at inequality, ethnic inequality, gender, age, and disability. None of them are as important, we think, in sociology as class inequalities. In fact, a lot of them might be class inequalities in disguise. But it quite often does come up in the exam. So, first off, ethnic inequality, what do we mean? First off, we don't mean races. No such thing as race. We're one race, the human race, one species. What we have is ethnicity. It's your culture, in a sense. You are Afro-Caribbean, Black African, genetically the same, ethnically, in terms of your culture, your beliefs, your values, your norms, different. So we have ethnic minorities in Britain. They're a minority, they all come from the same place, they feel like they're a member of the group, they have a particular culture, and they live in the same area as other people of their group, and they interact with them. Why is ethnic inequality important? Because ethnic inequality affects your life chances. Your jobs, health, education, holidays, housing, etc., etc., etc. Put simply, ethnic minorities on the whole in Britain have worse life chances. It's complicated. Some Indians and Chinese people are doing very well, but that might be because they're middle class, really. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But if the life chances are worse, how is it done? And it's called different forms of racism. So there's racialism. I don't like black people. That's racism. Cultural racism, based on stereotypes. Black people are lazy. Asian people are small and weedy. These are stereotypes. It's cultural racism, ideas. And institutional racism, whereby parts of the government, the police service, they're not I hate black people racist, but the things they do, the way they go about their jobs becomes a sort of racism. So the police stopping and searching lots of black men and Muslim boys. Stephen Lawrence murderers getting away with it because the police thought Stephen Lawrence had been killed by a black lad in a drugs-related stabbing. That's institutional racism. It could also be a lack of social capital. If you're a member of an ethnic minority, you don't know as many people, posh, important people, who can help you, who you can ring up to get help from. It's called a lack of social capital. Like I was just saying a few minutes ago, it might be class in disguise. So this ethnic inequality could be, saying to a Marxist, will be class in disguise. So often ethnic minorities form what we call subcultures. Yeah, examples, Afro-Caribbean, uh, Black African, Pakistani, Indian, Bengali. They're a subculture, which means, here they are, if they were there, there'd be a separate culture. That's Britain, that's British culture, that's them. That's a separate culture, that's fully integrated, that's a subculture. Half in, half out. So they live here, it's a lot of the same norms and values, but a few things that are different. Yeah, big but varying degrees of overlap with the main culture. Subcultures don't always last that long, 50, 100 years, because people assimilate. They end up joining the main culture. As time goes on, you might start off like that, and over time, your children, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, at the end being fully British. When these subcultures exist, we say they're a response to racism and poor life chances. So ethnic groups live in particular parts of town become known as ghettos. And a riot is often a result of anger at the poor life chances and the racism. Moving on. Gender inequality. Gender inequality. Biologically, there's not that much difference. Women give birth and breastfeed. Men are slightly physically stronger. But to sociologists, the real things are cultural. We are brought up to behave differently. If that wasn't the case, if our gender was, if the way we behave as males and females, if that was biological, humans would be the same all over the world. And we've seen the Gatla and the Chambuli behave, males and females behave very differently. I'm not going to go into that now. You don't know it now, you never will. But that's your example. This proves that gender is part of culture. It's taught as part of our gender roles. We are socialized into our genders. To toys, clothes, cards, we are taught how boys and girls, males and females should behave. And it affects our choice of job. And choice of job affects your life chances. Females often choose part-time work because they think they should, because it's so they can look after the kids, which I think is their job. Or they choose female jobs. What I mean by that is they jobs that look after people, primary school teachers, nurses, secretaries. They feel comfortable doing that because they've been socialised and thinking they must look after people. Again, it all works on stereotypes. Women can't do this, women can't do that, women should do this, women should do that. These are what's called stereotypes. Another reason it can't change is because of childcare. It's extremely expensive, so it makes more sense for women often to look after their kids and have a job. But they never think, well, maybe the man should do this. And when women do have career type jobs, what stops them rising up is called the glass ceiling, an invisible barrier made up of men's attitudes that stops them rising up. Now, to a feminist, all this makes complete sense. It's all part of the patriarchy, spelt that way. The stereotypes, the gender roles, the glass ceiling, it's all part of the patriarchy. The conflict theorists, the conflict between males and females. Age inequality, the social construction of age. We decide how young and old people should behave, what it should look like, what it should do. It's not biology wholly, it's the social construction of age. As a culture, we've decided how to treat people of different ages. Age inequality. Thing to remember here is the intersection. If you're old and being discriminated against, it could be because you're black or female or working class. It intersects. No one's just one thing. So age inequality is there. We don't think it's as big a deal as class. There is some youth inequality. You're not allowed to go and see certain movies. When you leave school and you get a job, you'll be less well paid to do the same work. There is some inequality. Old people inequality. Ageism. And again, it's all based on stereotypes. Young people can't do this, old people can't do that. Ideas in people's heads, social construction of age. And finally, disability and inequality. People who are disabled suffer from discrimination. They can't get jobs. They're stereotyped as being useless. And they suffer, along with everybody else, mentioned in this video, social exclusion. They're excluded from certain parts of our culture. They're excluded from parts of our society. They can't do this, they can't do that. It's very obvious, disabled people, they might be excluded from buses because they can't get on with their wheelchair. Social exclusion also works for young and old people, females, ethnic minorities, social exclusion.